Hello, humans. This is Corey. I wanted to tell you about this beautiful and sacred upcoming retreat we have this year. The problem is, for most of us, it's really difficult for us to have moments and periods of stillness long enough to have meaningful spiritual and emotional experiences. I knew exactly what it felt like growing up to be in emotional suffering and not have the guide that I needed to be able to heal and improve my life. What's so powerful about these retreats is not only are they an access point to stillness and connection with the group, but they are an access point to deeper healing and deeper spiritual experiences like you've never experienced. These have had a huge impact in my life and have helped me go deeper. They have truly changed the landscape of me and my family's life as I've come home with greater light and understanding and love. We want you to join us this year on this beautiful retreat. Send us a message. Go to theemotionalblueprint.com and send us a message on that website, and we will send you more information. You can also go to originswellness.org, and all the information is on that website again. So we look forward to seeing you there. Thanks.
Acting on emotions as guides to truth. Stillness. Surrendering to what is. Seeking. Using my gifts with purpose. Light. This is the Emotional Blueprint.
Okay, I definitely want to share this passage from the Bible. And it says, "Correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way, for he that hateth reproof shall die." Correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way, for he that hateth reproof shall die. Okay, so what is your thoughts? What does that mean to you? Correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way, for he that hateth reproof shall die.
So, assuming that the way is Christ or the path of an enlightened mind, or the straight and narrow, whatever you want to call that, if that person is not in line with those beliefs
With the way,
or that way of living, then being corrected is a horrible thing to that person.
That's a really insightful connection on what we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're spot on. I just took a note of this as I was thinking about it earlier. What is the way? Someone that is actively seeking light and truth, and that one who is open to learn from all schools of thought and all people. Someone who's willing to learn from the signs of nature. So when someone isn't living that way and someone is trying to act like they are, they're trying to be a wolf in sheep's clothing. They put on this facade. Anyone could put on a good facade.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you know if somebody is legit? Well, correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh that way. So when you try to give someone feedback, or when when you're dating somebody, you're gauging. Anyone can put on a good presentation, but no master manipulator can ever fake a genuine response. One of the good ways you can tell if somebody is interested in the way or humble, or you can ask them about their past experiences, their past relationships. And a good question to ask about past relationships is what do you think your role was and why that didn't work out? Or what role do you think you played and why? And if their response is like, oh, that stupid bee, like it was all her fault. She was horrible.
Mhm.
Da 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 da. She cheated on me. Da da da. It's like those can be some potential red flags of somebody that's not willing to take responsibility, that really isn't in following the way,
Mhm.
you know? So, anyways,
I think that that's interesting that you say that, because it's not necessarily that let's say that hypothetical relationship that the other person didn't cause all that pain. It's that you're not taking credit for the pain that you may have caused as well. I think that that's so interesting that you point that out. It's not saying that they were. It's not saying that you have to be the cause for the issues that caused relationship to fall apart or whatever. It's that you have to take credit for what you did do and be honest about it. And I just think that's really cool that you say that.
yeah. Well, hypothetically, even if this person did date someone that unexpectedly cheated on them and totally broke their heart,
Mm-hmm.
um, like just going through an experience like that, how can somebody go through something like that and not learn something from it? Like it's not about whether it was their fault or not. There's things that people do things all the time to me that are not my fault, but it's still a learning opportunity. And that's what that's what the way is.
Yep.
Somebody that is seeking truth and light, regardless if they feel like they're responsible. Just hurtful things, painful things that happen. Hopefully we're learning something. Blows my mind that some people can go through divorces and not once ask themselves the question, what role did I play in this, or what can I learn from this?
Mm-hmm.
Red flag. If there's not a genuine, type of response to that, like something with depth and genuineness. I'm not saying base it just off of that, but that's a good
That's
indicator.
a scary one. Yeah.
It's like a willingness to like step back and see things as they are,
For sure.
from like a place of objectivity.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the wisdom.
Yep.
In that.
And that's cool. That's actually what humility really is. Seeing myself for who I really am. And if I'm seeing myself for who I really am, then I'm really realizing how insignificant and weak and how much I have to learn,
Yeah.
how far I have to go before I'm perfect or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I feel like humility is without conditions. Like there's no but at the end of it. It's taking it from I can learn from all sources unless it's me, then I don't want to hear it, or I'm not ready to receive that about myself. And you take it one step deeper than that, and it's just all truth, no matter what source, about who, it doesn't matter. I will accept and listen to any and all information that might come. And that's like the pulling yourself out aspect, is like, I could be one of the things that the truth speaks on, and I just need to be willing to hear from wherever, whatever it's talking about. Because I feel like we want to protect ourselves a lot, like in those situations.
Yeah. It reminds me of that true story I was talking about
Mhm.
last time about Ricardo, who got put into jail unfairly because his cousin spread a rumor about him.
Yeah.
And none of that was his fault. And the cops arrested him on these claims, and he's in jail. And none of this was his fault. Objectively, not much was his fault. And I love the symbolism of this story of, as soon as he was able to find the deeper lesson from being in prison, then he was set free.
Mm-hmm.
So he actually was set free in real life. But the symbolism of that, of like, as soon as we learn the deeper lesson, and regardless of if it's our fault, then we are set free of the suffering of that event or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you are able to find meaning in suffering, then the suffering is over. That's one of my favorite quotes from the Man's Search for Meaning, the Viktor Frankl book.
So what is it that keeps people from just being humble? Like, what in relationships, there's so many variables and things and stuff, but like, is it fear? Is it pride? Because I mean, I don't want to just say it's the opposite of being humble is why people don't want to look at themselves in situations and things. But it's like what in relationships specifically, like what causes that most of the time?
So the question is like, the way that we're talking about it, it's so clearly perhaps in this moment for us to see the value in like being humble and learning from difficult things. Why do people not do that naturally? It's actually very unnatural to do it. The natural thing to do is when something difficult thing happens, the natural thing to do is to be upset and to stay focused on the event and other people. That's the natural thing to do. Because that's so natural, some people don't even know that there's a different option. It's like, oh, I can actually like learn from something that's not my fault. And like, and intellectually, I think they know that. But the other part is they haven't had the experience of really seeing the value of that. Now, how life goes, this is the hero's journey. If they deny that, if they continue to naturally just, be a victim and it's other people's and fault and my life sucks and this isn't fair. If they naturally continue to do that, they are refusing the call. The call is a spiritual call to take responsibility for to take responsibility for what you can learn out of life. So people refuse that. So if you continue to refuse that, whatever you build is a house of death, is what happens in every myths and stories and in the history of our culture. So basically, ideally, if somebody continues to naturally just stay in pride or stay in ego or not take responsibility, their life is going to get harder and harder and harder. They'll continue to fall. Things will get worse and worse and worse for them. It's inevitable. It's how it goes. And hopefully at some point, things get so bad that they're like forced to be humble, that they've lost maybe everything. And it's forced them to be in a humble state where like, maybe I can do something. Maybe I need to learn from this. I need to do something differently. And that's a beautiful opening. All of us have gone through that process, actually.
Yeah.
It's just how soon can we recognize that? We see this a lot in people that are crippled with addiction, because the addiction can kind of take over, and the roots of addiction is almost always like some emotional pain and things that are unresolved deeper, and the emotion and the addiction, the alcohol, whatever, becomes a numbing for that, an emotional medicine for that, basically. But I've loved working with addicts because I love to see like they basically are broken and they've lost everything. And so sometimes the humility that then emerges when they're sober, it's like the humility of a child. It's like so pure and beautiful. And from that, they really can, rebuild their life. And it's not easy because they are like a child again. They're going to fail, and they have become like a child though, in humility. And also in some aspects, they've lost judgment and the consequences of addiction, so.
Yeah.
Do you see people that are like more proactive, that are like not at that rock bottom, compelled, that are like proactive and come in and maybe see it coming?
Yeah, I used to see a lot more people that weren't, because I used to, when I first started, I was in like not a mandatory, but just more of an intense treatment place, and so get a lot of people that were in the depths of like they just hit rock bottom.
Yeah,
but now I see people that are more proactive, which is nice. Life gives you many opportunities to ask yourself the question, what can I learn from this? and what can I change? And I noticed I noticed you getting a little emotional about this, man. What's kind of coming up for you?
Just the beauty in the process that you can make mistakes, and even when you make all the wrong mistakes, it will come full circle and you'll have an opportunity to be the hero in your story again. And I think that that's just, even those who aren't doing the right things now will have a chance maybe to do the right thing later for
Mhm.
themselves. I just think that that's really beautiful. And for those who are on the receiving end in the relationship, or after, you know, a relationship or anything like that, just that's some solace for those people to know that not only can they improve and feel better from whatever they just experienced, but or not only can you feel better, but they can also feel better, even if, you know, they may not seem to deserve it. They will get a chance to be better than they were for you or whoever. And I think that that's a really beautiful message to be able to spread.
It is it's a message of hope, of like there's so many opportunities and chances, yeah. And it just gives some cool compassion to he that hateth reproof shall die. When we miss this opportunity to not learn and to grow, our spirit does begin to die. But like you said, it's the beauty of it, as that continues to happen. All it takes sometimes is a moment of awareness for someone to be like, whoa, like, I can't believe this is where I'm at. That can be a divine moment of a shift, you know?
Yeah.
So
I think it's just, I had this image when you were talking about it, and I don't know how, if this is even correct, like, but the image was really cool. It's like this person, right, who's living off of pride and refuses to see things the way that they are and just builds and builds. They're like building this, like you said, like this house of death. They're building this personage of themselves the way that they want to be, without any of the work or any of that stuff. And when it all crumbles down and they're brought to their knees physically or spiritually in humility, that person that they're building up dies. And what's left is, you said, sometimes it's this childlike person. This inner child is all that's left of humility and desire to rebuild and be better than they were. That whole image is really cool to me.
and in contrast with that, you know, there's some people, I think a lot of people, that their soul begins to die and darkness begins to take over time. And they are given, over the course of their life, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of opportunities, and they never take it. Their soul, they have become too hardened. I love the Bible talking about teachers with itching ears, or listeners with itching ears. It's no doubt people are noticing this disintegration, family, friends, and they'll try and have an intervention or say something. But you know, we can't hear it.
Yeah.
We don't have ears that can hear. And yeah, it does get harder. And the reconciliation of humility is going to be when they die. And they will come face to face with God and see what has happened. And, you know, from there, you know, I think there's another huge form of like grace and opportunity. And still some people won't, you know, but anyways,
Yeah.
I'd like to believe most people will at that point, you know, like, oh, now I'm removed from my body and all this, at least I'm removed from some of the fog, not all of it, but some.
I like what you said. I think people are noticing. I talk to my friends and things, and like throughout the week and stuff, and just the comments that people make about other people and at work and things, the way that you see, I don't know. People just seem different. They seem more disconnected. They seem more sad. Like really sad.
Mm,
People seem really sad.
mm.
Um, I think people are noticing the changes in society and they're seeing this huge shift that's happening. People disconnecting and what that's doing to them.
Let's talk about this shift. Let's talk about this. I had this pretty cool experience the other day. I felt this need. This is like a new thing for me, what I'm about to share. But I felt this need to take some serious time to meditate on like the current state of the world and where it's going. And I had this cool vision. And part of this vision was a singular focused on like a family. And then the other part of the vision was more universal. The part though that was really it was like these in this vision there was like that I had when I was meditating, there was these flashes of each flash was like part of the part of what's going on, and some of the disintegration of our world is with each flash. So the first flash was conflict. This man was refusing to take responsibility over little thing. Like his wife was talking to him and he just got so upset and he just threw up his hands and then he drives away in the car. It's like a flash, like, oh, like conflict is on the rise in our world. Okay. And then what happened next for him was that he then joined this group of other people that were similar to him. And this group in this vision was evil. And they didn't know that they were an evil group, but they were promoting division. And that was another flash, like division. Like the divisiveness of our time is rapidly growing, and it's headed to not a good place. And then the vision came back to the wife who was alone with her kids and just in her room, sad. So sadness, boom. There's never been a time in the world where people have been more sad. It's different than like the Great Depression or the World War II. Like that sadness was more external, survival, and the X factor was the benefit of that is people. It was a lot of people were experiencing that. Almost everyone was, and so it was like a community of that. So the sadness was external. Now there's never been more sadness, but it's internal.
Solitary sadness. You're just by yourself dealing with it now.
Yep. And then that was another flash in this vision I had of sadness. And then the final one was going along with that was just this complete loss of community for people. And just seeing that in this vision I had when I was meditating of all of that individually in this kind of family unit vision, but collectively. And man, it was a really powerful experience for me because it led to where this is going in universally. And it led to a powerful kind of where can I go to find this like truth and peace and safety almost. And we'll talk about that later. But you've kind of touched on these things with some of what you've said already. But those kind of flashes have been really kind of on my mind this last few days.
I feel like I've seen all of the flashes you described. I've seen like at least one example probably recently. Like,
Yeah.
I just get pictures in my head of experiences that I've had that show me what you're talking about. Like the loss of community, I know we all feel that. Like
Holy cow, dude.
post-COVID, you can't walk in the store and wave or make eye contact with people like you could before COVID. It does not happen anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You'll almost bump carts with someone and they won't even make eye contact with you and they'll just redirect their cart and keep walking. That's so crazy to me.
Cold.
It's
Yeah.
desensitized. It's the fear of everyone else around you, that division that you're talking about. It's so real right now. People are really feeling it. I don't think we've stopped feeling it since then.
What's the huge negative that goes along with this loss of community that is happening universally? 70% of people are lonely. 70%. 70% are experiencing loneliness consistently.
7 out of 10 people.
And so loneliness is a indicator that we are low on connection. We are wired for connect. We're low on connection. Think about, this very real evil influence.
Mm-hmm.
We can just refer to that as Satan for now, or the ego, but we'll just say Satan. If you were this extremely evil person whose goal, Satan's goal, is to cause misery in the human race and to destroy it. That's his goal. Okay, so if you were him, what would you do to cause widespread misery in the human race and then lead to its own destruction?
You would at all costs keep them from knowing who they really are, and then you keep them from sharing that with each other.
Wow, that's powerful. That's a powerful truth, what you just said. At all costs, you would keep someone from knowing their true identity. And
you keep them from sharing it with others.
Think of, so part of this vision I had, I saw people like suffering in silence and alone. This is the suicide epidemic, the part of the vision of this has happened, not necessarily suicide at the rate it has, but suffering has always been a part of the human experience and pain. But the unity, when people have a community, when they have a family unit and a community, they're able to find reprieve and relief and healing, not from those people directly, but it's huge.
Yeah.
So Satan knows that. This evil design knows that. And so it's going to do everything in its power to tear apart family units and to also tear apart communities. And that's exactly what is happening.
Yeah.
We're all about practical application and kind of bringing this back to what you can do. And we should talk about that. When my grandpa was alive, I used to visit him every Thursday for a while, and we'd have these conversations about how things used to be,
the old days.
And I love, if you talk about like learning from God through people, one of the best things that you can do is go talk to some elderly people. Go volunteer for an hour a week at like a retirement home, and they're lonely there. They just want to share their story. It's so cool to sit with them and like just to hear their story and ask them questions and rile them up a little bit. It's always a good time. Say controversial things on purpose. No, I'm just kidding. We don't want you to cause them a heart attack. But that's a powerful way. So talking to my grandpa, one of the things that we would talk a little bit about is this loss of community. And I say, Gramps, like, really, how different is it? And he would talk to me about porch culture. And to me, porch culture is the coolest thing that humans have ever invented.
Yep.
And for those who don't know, it's you get off of work and you're in this cul-de-sac and you have your chairs outside on the sidewalk or your front your front door where people can easily access, and you just sit there, and you're just sitting still in it. You just
Looking
sit,
at each other.
you just sit there. You're sitting still. You're talking. People get off work. Hey, they come up and talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you take your turn and you get up and go for a little walk. And then you talk to other people that are doing the porch thing.
Mm-hmm.
You invite them to the barbecue this weekend. But now contrast that with what's happening now. People get off work. What do? They go home. They go straight to their room and they get on the internet.
Phone, TV on, disconnected, blinders up, never go back outside.
And this is a victory for this evil source. If he can get people to isolate,
Mm-hmm.
there's no community. And people have developed a lot of habits with this that is not good.
It desensitizes you, I feel like. Well, I mean, there's tons of ramifications, but like for like one person to lose trust or familiarity with the people around them who live near them, then they don't care about those people. And what happens when you don't have anyone outside of your family that you care about as a human being, then you act differently in society. You drive differently, you shop differently. You're just more careless about other people, and the idea that that person has a life and a family and they're potentially a good person, that won't even cross your mind anymore. And it's really, it's kind of sad that that's how things are right now.
It's very sad. It's very sad. And the thing that is sad about it's very subtle. Okay, so this is part of the deception of Satan or evil, is to convince someone that they need it. I get off work and I need, because they've developed a habit of watching 4 hours of TV, and that's excessive. It might even be 1.5 hours or 30 minutes. You're the one that knows anyways. But my point is that people get used to that and they feel a little bit of relaxation from that. And they believe that they actually need it. It's become a necessity.
Yeah. That's going to rejuvenate them after their day or something.
Mm-hmm. And why is this such a great deception? Well, I think we've talked about this a little bit. It's when I am stressed or when I am frustrated or when I need balance in my life. I like the correlation of like a car that is low on gas. If your car is low on gas, there's nothing wrong with pulling the car over and just parking it. That is symbolic. Ideally, what we want you to do is if you want to park the car for a second, fine, a little bit, fine. But eventually, obviously, what we want you to do is we want you to go to the gas station, fill up your tank. This is a parallel of the parking the car is in taking media and isolating and video games and isolating activities that don't progress communal function. These are going to, if you do them long enough, then you're just parking the car. You're not actually filling up the gas tank. Okay, well, is some of that fine? Of course it is. But we want you to then go and fill up the tank, which is symbolic of like spiritual connection, social connection. It's connection.
Yeah.
Fills our tank. We are wired for that. So too many people parking their cars for way too long.
Maybe this is a tough question or not the right question or something, but like, how do you help someone notice that they're not filling up their tank correctly? That they're parking instead of filling up their tank? Because like they might not be able to notice that day in and day out they feel the same bleak feeling.
A symptom of parking your car too much, the major symptom of parking your car for too long, is a lack of motivation and a lack of focus.
Okay.
Those are symptoms that you're not connecting in meaningful ways often enough with yourself or with other people. Remember, connection isn't just social. It's spiritual, it's emotional, like what we've been talking about. And then the best way to tell if you're not having enough social connection, all of us have this, are wired for this as a human being. This is our nature. We will start to experience loneliness. And this is the spiritual, this is the deeper of like you're low on connection, and you need to cultivate that more in your life. So let's talk about a practical application with this as far as the community. I'm pretty extroverted. I have a lot of communities. I'm involved in many different communities in my life, and I love it. It still doesn't feel like I could benefit from more. Like there's still times where I'm like, oh, I'm like, I'm pretty fulfilled right now, but we can never have too much community unless that is getting in the way of your own personal recharge and not parking the car, although that can be part of it. Spiritual and the emotional practices, then and physical, then that's imbalanced, right? But yeah. Okay, so practical application of this is, what is important for me to understand about connection and social connection? Connection does not happen on accident. It is an intentional practice. If you want to have more community and connection in your life, you have to create it. Most people do not do this. They go home and they just wait for Phil to come knock on their door and invite them to go to a barbecue or to go on a rafting excursion.
That's me. He's describing. Call me
you
Phil.
you have to go out there. You have to. Now, let me just say this: if you start initiating more and setting up group chats and trying to plan things, just know you are going to be disappointed, guaranteed. The response rate with these things, just like for the reason we've talked about, people are into their habits and into their routines that are not healthy.
Yeah.
It's not our responsibility to tell them it's not healthy and to try to manipulate people to come go on a rafting trip with us. I've done that. It actually is worth it if it's a rafting trip. But just continue to do it. Try to be the initiator. It's fulfilling to live your life that way, even if the response rate is low. This is also what's the huge benefit of beginning to step into a whole family unit, is you have this built-in community, at least for X amount of years, where they like have to spend time with you. Like my kids have to spend time with me.
Like a lot of time too.
Hey, come with me to run errands. No, I don't want to. Too bad.
What else are you going to do?
And then we play music and we laugh.
Noah hates errands more than anything. I got to
Noah's Dane's son.
I got to turn that around. ASAP.
And just creating it is so important. And there's just not enough people that do that, which is why there's no community. People need to be pulled out of their media habits and their isolation habits. Like, whoa, like this was fulfilling. This was really good. To be like, I want to do more of this. And they need to have that experience to pull that so we can play a role.
Yep.
Doing that for us and doing that for other people,
And a little plug-in for connection versus attachment, right?
Yes.
It is not about what you're getting from the activity that you're doing or setting up or whatever. It's what you're giving to the situation or the experience, right? For connection. You shouldn't, right? Isn't that right? Like you shouldn't be looking for what you're going to get out of it, because that's attachment.
Connection is like, I just want to give. I feel like I have something to give. I feel like I'm a little bit funny, or I have stuff on my mind that I want to talk to people about. Like you want to give that and create that connection. Yeah.
Because you just get so many people now. Like if you show up to a house party or something, there's that one guy or whoever that shows up, they're playing on their phone for 5 minutes and they're like, you know what, this isn't for me. And it's like they might have been looking for someone to give them an experience at that party instead of them connecting with people to get an experience from it. And you see that happen all the time, where people are just like, this isn't it, we're leaving. It's like, well, okay, maybe connect next time.
Waiting for something to happen, or
waiting for excitement to come to them.
Maybe last thought on that is, if you want to create more connection in your life in a community, one of the best ways just to give that a huge shot in the arm is to plan like a little trip. Like book, book an Airbnb, something that maybe you can cancel, and then just start like, hey, like I would engage in intentional manipulation to get my friends to come on these little trips with me when I was single, even when I've been married. And the way that I would do that is I would book the place. I could cancel it if it just busted, if it was a bust. But I'd say, hey, like I'd maybe get some buy-in before, like, hey, we should go to like San Diego, or we should go a road trip here. And they'd be like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Be like, cool. And then I'd put them on a group message and put up some other people that I wanted to come. Be like, hey, we got this awesome place. And then I would send photos of like the beach and curate these like visuals.
TripAdvisor pitches.
These visuals. Yeah. It's so dumb, but like it worked. And I'm telling you, if it's the best way to get out of your normal environment and to have multiple days, even if it's just one day where you're just like with people and connecting. Holy cow. Like that is a beautiful like ensemble of just like connection and conversation. It's like you feel so alive. The times I've felt the most alive is moments like that in my life when there's stillness and there's time. You're not rushed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I gotta go. I gotta wake up early, later.
It's just free, present connecting. Super cool.
And there's a way to have it be low risk. Like I said, whatever. But those are just some practical applications of starting to initiate if you feel ready, and even if you don't feel ready, trying to do that a little bit. And you'll be disappointed, but then you'll learn like, 10% of people commit, or so, okay, I have to invite, if I want 5 people to come, I have to invite 50.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Maybe that's, but you'll learn to accept the way that things are right now. And then, you'll make a big impact on helping bring more connection to other people's lives. I want to talk a little bit about like division and like group identities. This is a big, in this meditative experience I had, this like principle of like division, and the amount of division that is in our world is at an all-time high, I believe. And it's only going to, the human race is only going to become more divided. Obviously, we see this with like politics. We've almost always seen this with religion. But politics in America is a big one that really sticks out to me. And so there's something that is called like in this, just like, I guess we could just call it like toxic group identity versus community. Community is obviously really good, but toxic group identity is obviously not good. And so I think it's important to talk about this because there's some people that might actually be a part of a toxic identity, group identity, and they don't realize that they are. And so it's just good to be aware of, so that we're promoting community and not division. Okay, so I want to get your thoughts on what's the difference between a divisive group. That's maybe not the ways, but what's maybe, how can somebody maybe tell if they're in kind of more of a toxic group identity, an unhealthy group identity versus like an actual community?
Maybe a feeling or a need to conform to the group.
Totally. That is always a common factor in, I wouldn't say always, but often a common factor in toxic group identity is basically the message in different words is like, hey, you need to sacrifice your own personal values and your own balance to conform and to contribute to this like group.
Yeah. Sacrifice who you are to be who we are. That's crazy.
Remember, this is part of what you were saying, the wisdom that you said earlier about this evil. He's getting both. He's accomplishing two things in that. He's getting you to abandon some of who you are,
Mm-hmm.
forget who you are, and then to participate in division.
Furthering that division.
Yep.
I mean, that's like the KKK.
Yeah.
That's why they all wore hoods and you didn't know who was who.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have like singular identity, right? It was like
Mm-hmm.
a group that did the same things.
Mm-hmm. Let me share some of these. I was thinking about this, and I wrote a couple things down. Toxic group identity is an us versus them.
Mm-hmm.
This is why it's toxic, because it creates division. So this happens a lot in politics. I strongly identify as a Democrat, or I strongly identify as a Republican. So I am participating. Now, there's nothing wrong with identifying with either one, but if you're participating in I'm right and you're wrong, and it's us versus you guys, if you're any way promoting that, or you are contributing to collective suffering. And a lot of people are contributing to that, thinking it, obviously believing that it's justified.
Mm-hmm.
You don't realize what you're doing.
Do you think that they're doing that out of like a sense of, because of that 70% loneliness, are they just doing it to be a part of something, to try and feel connection?
100%. Yeah. They're doing it because they want to be a part of, they want to be right. They want to be a part of a community.
Yeah.
That's not the way to be a part of a community, though.
Can't sacrifice yourself for that.
And it's not like one party is innocent and one's guilty. Like on the political spectrum, both
Mm-mm.
participate in that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is interesting. Conformity over truth. Conformity over truth pressures members to conform, discouraging critical thinking or questioning group norms.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
uses fear, guilt, or shame to keep people loyal. You already said this, a loss of individuality. Fragile and defensive, reacts aggressively to criticism from outside perspectives, seeing them as personal attacks. If we contrast that, a healthy community encourages growth. It allows people to think freely and to ask questions and evolve. It supports you without trying to control you and what you believe. So I think the biggest thing that sticks out is, especially in the political spectrum, but this applies to religion, this applies to families. Anytime you are saying things to other people that are promoting that they're wrong and you're right,
Mm-hmm.
or that, you know, they can't believe they do this or that, you're promoting division. You are furthering the work of evil and the loss of community. You may not see it, but that is the reality of what is happening. And social media has obviously taken this to a whole nother, because think about it. If you subscribe to certain political views, as an example, you can hop on, you can curate your X platform or your Instagram to just give you feed about that political view or that side of the aisle or whatever. And then you start to actually believe that's what is objective and like the truth and the way and like how everyone should feel. And then when you meet someone that doesn't view that, it's like, it's just crazy.
And
man.
it doesn't even show you opposing views. So
No.
you think no one's arguing with it.
Yep.
And then you're like, this has to be the truth. I have to, like, there's no question.
It's just dangerous.
It is bad.
It's just dangerous.
Manipulative.
It's just good to keep in check. Obviously, it's good to have views and to believe things, and there's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, some people are actually the leader of these toxic group identities by trying to pressure people to believe what they believe and to emotion, fear, guilt. I can't, you know, it's just crazy. So this whole division thing and the loss of community, I think, is it's the disintegration of the human race. And it's so important to try to do our part to contribute to unity. But in my meditative experience, I saw a little bit of what is going to happen and this is just my experience, which is that I believe what is the reality of what is going to happen is the division is going to get so great that there's only going to be two categories of people: good and evil. And right now is, and for a while, I think is almost kind of a sifting of that. Right now, there's so many people that are kind of a mix, or, it's hard, it's not as black and white. But if you are spiritually connected and you are emotionally, and you have this vision, you will start to see, I believe, you will start to see this happen more, and it will become more black and white. And obviously, the people that are in this evil group, when however long this takes, this is what I believe, however long this takes to happen, they're not going to believe that they're the evil group. They're going to believe that they're right. And so I think that's the big thing too. The last thing I want to say is kind of like, would you rather be right, or would you rather have peace?
Mhm.
Would you rather, this applies to this, what's maybe a really important message for you to have in your family unit and in your community. Would you rather be right, or would you rather have peace? That is a decision that most of us make unconsciously all the time. Obviously, you would want to have peace, and we have to make that decision. I'm fighting with my wife or my spouse or whoever about this, something political or something stupid that just really doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Whatever it is, not that politics don't matter, but just things that really don't matter when we boil it down to it. And do you want to be right, or do you want to have peace? The way is to obviously choose peace and unity and understanding. And the cool thing is, what are some of the let's talk about some of the good that is developing, and some of the shift of the good that is developing in our society universally. What are some of the good shifts that are collective shifts, individual shifts that are happening in the world?
Just as quickly as bad information can spread, good information can spread. And I think more than ever before, we've been able to potentially connect with people in different countries and all around the world easier than we've ever been able to.
Mm.
At least virtually, and things with technology.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly connecting in the sense that we've been talking about, but communicating.
I remember talking to this therapist that used to work for me, who was really awesome, and her dad would work, I can't even remember the company, but they would engage in all this like really cool research about what's going on with people. And one of the things that they researched that is so fascinating, that's always stuck with me, is they've been able to research and find that people have never been more visual learners than ever before in history. And I don't know how they know that, but for a while, I think, I don't know if we should say history, but people have never been more visually intake information than ever before into, so.
Is that a good or a bad thing?
It's both.
Oh, okay.
The obviously the negative is the propensity for visual addictions. Pornography addictions have never been higher. Pornhub almost crashed during when COVID started.
It crashed.
It almost crashed, and OnlyFans skyrocketed during COVID, and has gained
because of like boredom,
lack of a lot of reasons.
Can't go outside.
Lack of connection. I think
connection.
A core pillar of any addiction is it's almost always related to connection, and then deeper things too than that, but connection's a part of it usually. These visual addictions, video games, we're seeing these like skyrocket. So it validates this study of the visual visual people. There's never been more visual people, I think is maybe a cool way to say it. But now the cool side of that is the people that are seeking answers genuinely, answers emotionally, and particularly answers spiritually. They're having visions. They are seeing things. They have eyes to see and ears to hear. And so I've seen this. I've seen these prodigies as a therapist. And honestly, you're one of them. You're very gifted that way. Out of all the people I've seen, you've always been a special one in that way, just so you know. But there's many others. And so it's this beautiful light, darkness enters in, and then light comes to meet it. This is more of perhaps my Christian view, but setting up perhaps for this great battle at the end of time, is what we believe as Christians or whatever. But it's aside from that. So yeah, there's a lot of good. There's a lot of, and the thing is, it's not like you either have this or you don't. You can seek answers and really get them.
Mm-hmm.
The sincere seeker of truth that is genuine finds answers. They may not come right away. It's a process of doing some emotional work. This is, if somebody really, not that, but there's been a lot of things that we've talked about on this podcast that have not come from us. If you go back and listen to some of what we've laid out and you really genuinely try to apply it and find answers, and we're going to be posting a lot of diagrams and practical application on our website that you can access these things. That can be a resource for you to develop some of these spiritual gifts, the gift of vision,
Mm-hmm.
and to see things. And the thing is last thought on that is all of us are meant to see. All of us are meant to see what we are meant to know what can happen in our life, or not everything, but certainly some things.
Mm-hmm.
So we can make it through this, the crazy world that we're in. I think what's really valuable that we should talk about is helping people, or helping us to continue to sharpen our awareness of deception. The evil one, the ego, its main form of influence is deception. Nobody is aware, like, oh, I'm about to get deceived, and then they just welcome that in. No, but the power of what we were talking about last time of deception always comes in the waiting room first.
Mm-hmm.
Can we be in the office with the glass windows to see who's coming in the lobby before we take them back in? Awareness is a spiritual gift, and it's a great, so it's just increasing that is good way to avoid deception.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the question is, what is the most common ways that evil or Satan deceives us?
Like what types of deception?
Yeah, it requires us to really lean on maybe some of our own experiences, what we've seen in other people, perhaps, and what does Satan or evil, we'll just say Satan for now, but if you don't believe in Satan, just think evil or ego or whatever is comfy for you. But Satan, what are his tactics?
Like lies?
Let's talk about what type of lies. I'll share one thing, and then maybe we'll just get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
And then Dane, chime in on here too, man. Because I have a feeling you're actively being deceived right now. I'm just kidding. I'm sensing deception in Dane. That'd be weird. So I love what you said earlier, that one of Satan's main ways of deception is to get you to believe that your identity is not actually what it is. He attacks the identity. Okay, how does he do that specifically? Well, he gets you to believe that thoughts that he is putting in your mind are actually your own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
How does he do this? Well, he uses your own voice, your own language, the way that you talk, like, dude, or that's crazy. Or he uses that to get you to believe that it is you. I was meeting with a client earlier today, and the story came up for me that I think is kind of a cool experience for me that I forgot about. So I'm married when this experience happened, and I have 1 or 2 kids at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I wake up, I have this intrusive thought, this strong thought about an ex-girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, how's she doing? You know, just like it. And then I'm like, oh, that was weird. And then I come to work and I have kind of a slow, and then other thoughts come in like that's just kind of like pretty poignant. Okay. And then I leave the office, and then I go to the grocery store to grab some lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as the sliding doors open, my ex-girlfriend is standing right
No
in the
way.
grocery store. And I'm like, hey, what's up? And she's like, hey, what's up? And hope you're good. And I just go grab lunch, and then I come back to the office. As I'm driving home, I'm having this means something. Like, there's no coincidence here, Corey.
Mm-hmm.
You had these thoughts, like you haven't thought about her for years. And then you wake up and there's a strong thought there.
It's destiny, Corey.
And then other thoughts,
Yeah.
and then you bump into her. What are the chances? Like, you're supposed to act on this. You need to do something. Pretty compelling situation. I have some awareness at this point, and I'm like, I'm married. I have 2 kids. Like, this is ridiculous.
Nice try.
Yeah. But isn't that fascinating?
Mm-hmm.
Because what also was happening is the orchestrator of thoughts was also putting thoughts in her mind. She wasn't present.
Mm-hmm.
And he was putting thoughts into her mind to be at that spot when I was.
Dang. That's
he was
crazy.
working at trying to me to lose myself.
Mm-hmm.
And my point in sharing this story is the deceptive nature of thoughts and how we can truly believe that they mean more than they really do. This is part of his deception. He wants us to believe that thoughts mean something. Now, which thoughts actually mean something and which ones don't? Well, we've talked about this. The thoughts that mean something are when we are still and a thought comes from within us, and there's an inspiration to it. No thought is ever going to get you to obviously betray your morals either. And that was obviously a highlight. Just to give even more clarity to that, because I'm not quite doing it justice, is how can we tell if a thought is coming from us versus if it's coming from Satan?
Maybe the intention or whatever the action would be from the thought, seeing what that would be. And if it's positive or uplifting or helpful to someone else, then there's a good chance it's going to be a good thought. Maybe that's kind of a tough one.
I think this is key too, just from what you said, it popped up, is intention is key. If I am intentionally producing, if I'm intentionally trying to think about this, then it's coming from me. These thoughts with my experience about my ex-girlfriend,
Came out of the blue.
Random.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Right when I wake up, what? Driving, what?
Mm-hmm.
It's not coming from us. Now, what about God or the good side? Can't thoughts be random or come up from them? Yes, but if they are, there's a clarity to that. There's a you just kind of know, there's a clarity to it. You know where it's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the key. Is it intentional? Am I producing it on purpose? Or is it clear and gentle and peaceful, calm to it? If the answer is not either of those two things, you're getting deceived. There's a deception taking place or trying to take place. The other thing about the collective world is truth is getting foggy and getting attacked. And we need to have these weapons or this clarity or this understanding to avoid deception. It's critical. I love this quote from Russell Nelson where he says, "In the coming days, it will not be possible to survive spiritually without the guiding, directing, comforting, and constant influence of God or higher power, connection with that." There's a lot of truth to that.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I believe, from my experience, this is part of the sifting of the good and the evil, or is this division that is happening, is someone legit, actually spiritually connected and is receiving answers and guidance from that source consistently. We need it consistently. If we don't have that consistently, we will be deceived. Deception is inevitable.
It's too good.
He knows you too well. And it's very intimate. And this is another reason why I just don't believe in the general spiritual adoption of evil or ego, that it's kind of negative energy that's just kind of floating around and then it has an impact and influence on you. It's like the reason why I believe in a very real evil influence that is very smart and the Satan figure is because these thoughts are so highly personalized and they are so dialed into what's going to get you.
Mm-hmm. It's clever.
Oh, dude, it's so clever.
Like that's clever.
My experience.
Story, yeah.
I mean, I didn't tell you the end. Like, I actually did cheat on my wife.
No.
And then I realized, no, I'm just kidding. And then I realized that it wasn't good.
I have 2 families now, and I forgot to tell you.
I have 14 kids.
Yeah.
That one got me thinking for a second, like, what? Because for a moment, I remember being like, wait, I think there's something here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, whoa, wait a second. This is crazy. It took me a second. It's not like it just came right away.
No. And if it were a different person, it would have been differently crafted, which is scary.
But it just highlights this other important truth, that evil can also work. And it's subtle, right? We're talking about thoughts that seem
semi-normal.
But yeah, like, I'm going to go get lunch. That wasn't an evil thought, and there's nothing wrong with me following that.
Mm-hmm.
But she wasn't perhaps that, I don't know. She could have been present enough, and it just was a thought at that time, like, go do this. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Satan can make some thoughts stronger and amp up some of the intensity, So that's what happened for me in that experience. So maybe the final thing as we wrap up is, Satan or evil's main 3 methods is deception, mostly through thoughts. Okay, so deception can happen through thoughts or can happen through other people saying things to you. Satan can obviously put a thought in someone else's mind, and if they're not aware or whatever, then they can communicate that to you. So that's pretty much all he's got. That's the limitations. He can't mess with how you feel. Now, he can put thoughts into your mind that if you hold on to can then affect how you feel, obviously. But he doesn't have direct access. This part of emotion and spirit, this is the pureness of you. He doesn't have access to that space. So that's important for people to know, I think. And so that's your protected space. But okay, so the three ways he operates is deception, distraction, and then discouragement or shame. Part of deception is also fear too, and anxiety.
Mm-hmm. Like confusion.
Yeah. Now, if you're really good at paying attention to deception is really the root of all of it, the distraction and also the discouragement. So that's why deception is really it. But if he is just not having that much success at bringing down someone's character and how they feel about themselves, the only thing he has in that, I can just distract this person. I can numb them from being a part of a community. I can numb them from being connected to God and to themselves. And if I do that long enough, then I can amp up, then the deception will be inevitable.
They'll do it to themselves or something.
Yeah. His main goal is always deception.
Mm-hmm. And then the distraction and the discouragement or the shame are just meant to like slow you down or get you lost, waste your time, just kind of meandering around looking for what to be doing.
Yeah, and what we've talked about, and so like, with maybe we'll wrap up with something like this, is that with shame and anxiety or fear, the deception has already taken root, and those emotions are a evidence of that. They're a clue to I'm already deceived. For example, I'm holding on, like, okay, I'm having a thought that I'm going to eat some food tonight for dinner and I'm going to get sick. And I have this worry about that. And it can be because I've been sick, whatever the reason. And okay, I'm already deceived. And that anxiety is not a bad thing. It's my spirit. It's the light trying to call out and say, hey man, you're believing something that's not true. Like, I want you to listen so you don't get deceived further. And the shame is I'm holding on to a negative belief about myself or a deception about who I am. Like, I'm not a good person because I threw up in front of my friends or whatever the situation is,
Yeah.
So that's why we love emotions, is they always tell the truth. They're our friends. They're trying to help us not be deceived, especially anxiety and shame, and loneliness is trying to help us recognize that I need more connection. Sadness is trying to help me realize that I need hope in my life and that I need to seek something greater than myself to find that hope. And it's all this beautiful messages that lead to this, like, just the good life.
The way.
If you have benefited from this podcast in any way, it would mean the world to us to have you subscribe, to allow us to keep it going and bring on inspirational human beings.